Hi, welcome to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Thanks for joining the conversation. It's the Mimi and Greg Show. My dear friend Greg Rucka and I can't help but talk about the upcoming election and its impact on our society. Listen on to hear about Stop Project 2025 comic, a comic book collaboration of some of the finest writers in the industry. The comic is crafted to explain and understand the Trump conservative agenda and move you to vote against it. I urge everyone to read it and be an informed voter of what's at stake this election. A link for the PDF version of the comic is available right here in this blog post. Greg also shares fascinating insights into his writing methods and the challenges writing his latest novel. Whether you're a fan of comics or concerned about the future of our democracy, this conversation is a shared space of empathy and understanding. As a reminder to everyone, these are tense times. Be kind to yourself and others. We can get through this together. Please, everyone, get out there and vote. This election matters, and your vote does too. I enjoy these conversations and hope you do as well. If you do, please rate my podcast on your platform of choice and share it with others. If you would like to support with a donation to help keep this podcast going and support the work I do, you can become a patron of the show by visiting my website or patreon.com/SifuMimiChan. For comments or suggestions, reach out on social media at SifuMimiChan. Now, on with the show.
Hey.
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Very busy.
Oh no, very busy. Well, good busy or?
Busy.
Busy. Got it.
Just busy.
I understand. I'm not still there, but I was really there a week ago. So.
You guys are okay?
We're so okay. I mean, we cannot be more fortunate. Unbelievably fortunate, compared to the coast, of course, as always. That's the thing. It's always so devastating because then everybody else around you is not okay. And we're always just wow, we're really lucky. We lost power, but no big deal. I never complain about that. As long as I have water, I'm good. Yeah. Just so grateful. The Kung Fu school was fine. We still had my father's events and people flew in from all over the world and still made it to Orlando because it was such it's an event we planned 3 years in advance. So it was okay, of course this is happening. But it's still stressful, right? It doesn't mean leading up, we're watching this huge storm that covers the entire state, creeping towards us and coming through. But it went exactly south enough to not be problematic for us, but which means someone else got it worse. But
no. It's
what do you do, right? You can't hope for that, but at the same time, self-preservation.
And also, you can't feel bad either, right?
Exactly.
I feel bad we were spared. I'm not sure that's.
I know, but we had it was funny because you always reach out, you and Jen, you guys are amazing. You always reach out, but I had people that I never hear from going, are you guys going to be okay? Because I didn't, as you know, I don't watch the news. So I didn't realize what the media was reporting and how crazy and intense the hype was, which of course it was a really big storm, but some people forwarded me some stuff that one meteorologist that was crying and emotional. And then, so I understood then why people were coming out of the woodworks. Are you going to survive? Are you in Florida? I'm yeah, we're in Central Florida. We're probably okay. But yeah, I realized how crazy the media made it seem too. Not that it wasn't a big storm, but they really.
Yeah. I mean, those are two different things. So the media frenzy being its own thing doesn't actually diminish the fact that was a remarkable storm.
It was.
That was not something that had been seen before. So
plus the coast had just gotten over the previous hit, right? And so
you guys had just had
luckily
Helene,
for them, and luckily they didn't get that direct on, it went a little more north, but a lot of those places were still flooded and still recovering and still putting their act back together, and it was like, oh, okay, here we go again. So it reminded us of that Charlie, where it was just like we got hit like 3 in a row. Like it wasn't as bad as that for us in Central Florida anyway. It wasn't as bad as that, but it was scary though. Yeah, it was scary.
It was a legit double whammy, I think you can say. So
yeah, for sure. So, but we are good. Thank you so much. Yes. And
I'm glad everybody is all right.
Yes. All good. Well, so
that being of some concern. So
I know it. And then, it's funny because are we rolling? Are we pre-rolling? I never know with us. Hello.
What is it? It's only 3 minutes late.
Yeah, this is good for us. This is good for you and I. Like 20 minutes in.
Yeah. So I mean, this is nothing.
Well, the reason too was because I was so good about pre-hurricane, like, don't worry, friends in the Discord, I'll let you know we're good. And then of course, like it hits and then we're like so busy because we're getting the generator going. And then we had to go check, I was like, I didn't log back onto that stuff. And then you're like,
let's check. Yeah. Well, once we got word from you.
Yeah. And then you posted for me, which is really nice of you. So thank you.
Yeah.
But love our friends there. Everybody's always so concerned about us Floridians. And there's other Floridians in there too. And hopefully everyone fared okay. So I know. I always wonder though, what it's like where you guys are just watching and then you see like this like monster just that's going to cover our whole state. Metaphorical monsters as well as real storm monsters that we get all the time.
Your real Floridian monsters. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for how other people perceive these things. I have been talking to a couple people the last few days about how easy we all are to manipulate. Even when we think that we're aware of it, even when we are aware of it, even when we think we're like, pushing back, it's like, it's real easy to press all of our buttons and even to press our buttons, knowing, what I mean? It's like, so it doesn't take much to get people panicking about a storm. It doesn't take much to get people panicking about stuff that really isn't worth panicking over, or even like, hurricanes were real. They've got people panicking over shit that's not real. So
yes. So it's a legitimate concern. It was coming. It did do damage, and so it's at least it's a legitimate thing. The problem is we're all heightened all the time now. So then
we're living in agonizing hyper vigilance, I guess. Just got to get through the election.
I know. So it was so funny because I go, okay, Oscar, I'm talking to Greg on Thursday. And I'm like, so this is probably going to release, it's supposed to release Tuesdays, which is the day of the election, because this is what this is keep for. And I was like, but I'll probably need to release it on Monday before the election, because I'm sure we're going to talk things. Or I could just be like, let's talk about comics. I don't know how that's going to go.
We can do that too.
My sigh of relief is gone. I just want to say it out loud. My sigh of relief is gone.
And replaced by what?
Well, remember, I barely had the sigh of relief. And it's because I still am not taking in media, but people like to keep coming up and telling me the polls are so close.
They're not. The polls that are being released in certain places and that have been gamed, nobody knows now.
Well,
right?
Do you know people that have been polled?
Truth is objectable. No.
I don't know anyone that's ever been polled. So I'm always curious, who are these people?
That's not true for the general. I got polled for a local measure.
Oh, okay.
For this election cycle, right? I got a call for it.
Okay.
And they called my cell, right? So as opposed to, it being quote unquote only landlines, but there's lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is there's no profit in the truth right now. And there's no profit in a lack of drama. So, and then add to that the genuine, legitimate concerns if you are basically anything but a particular subset of white Christian male, right? And even the Christian there is getting sliced really thin, right? We've all got, it goes back to our anxiety triggers. Like we've all got reasons to be really, really frightened if we've been paying any attention at all.
Yeah.
Any attention at all. If you've even looked at, the Project 2025 stuff and the comic launched, 2 weeks ago, and is out there and it seems to be getting a little penetration, but a lot of folks just don't seem to realize. No. So the people who realize exactly like how vile the plan is, right, have every reason to. It's nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But that's a separate thing than. And it's a guarantee. It's a fait accompli. It's going to happen. And then that's a different thing than, what are the shenanigans going to be post-election? And that's a different thing than the maggots trying to, before the election, before election day, already calling, already prepping to say it was stolen and so on.
Right.
There's an argument that says they're working so hard to say that because it's going to be a fucking blowout. And part of the reason why you're seeing the polls that you're seeing are for them to be able to say, okay, but see, the polls said it wasn't going to be a blowout. So obviously something's hinky. And it's like, no, motherfuckers. No. So I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think the vast number of voters may not be hip to the bullshit, but I think they're real tired of it. I think about how fatigued we are, and I am picking up my phone right now. And I am going to go and look at my text messages. And oh, look, yet again, they're desperate. We need just one more from my zip code gift to hit our goal. You know what? That's not even an official campaign. How many of those are you getting? How many people are getting that all the time? And in
Florida, you know what kind of notes I'm getting. I don't want your fucking hat. I don't want it.
All of
Elon Musk has a hat for you. I'm like, F off, Elon Musk. Yeah, that's the type of text that I get. I'm like, how do you have my number?
So I mean, look, it's just people are exhausted and people are frustrated, and a lot of us who stand to lose a lot, and by lose a lot, I don't mean financially. Of course we're stressing. Like, you can't ignore it. Mm-hmm. They're making sure you can't ignore it. So, we have to engage in the self-care of going, well, where am I looking and what am I looking at? And recognizing, like, my sort of new policy is going, look, I can't keep myself from being manipulated. Right. It's going to happen. Like I'm going to react. I'm going to feel what I feel. The trick is don't act on it.
Right. It's the action.
Right.
It's not the.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to press the button.
Yeah.
And I'm going to react to it because I'm programmed that way. And I can know, like I said, I can know this is manipulation. But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. What is then incumbent on me is reason, right? And going, okay, so am I going to jump on this emotionally or not? And trying to step back enough to see it. And I think it's really important to engage with people who can have empathy with that. I don't want right now a conversation with somebody telling me calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't need that. And I don't want somebody's rational conversation of, well, American politics are like, I don't fucking care. What I need right now is empathetic listening.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just need you to hear my anxiety, my fears, right? That's what we need to offer each other. It's like, I'm with you.
Yes, we're together.
I understand it.
We feel what we feel. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you're feeling is
it's real. Yes.
And
valid.
And it's okay.
Yes.
I am validating it, and
yes.
I am here. And now, like, having said it, I don't have to carry it alone.
Yes.
And
yes.
Now we can move on to other things. And,
agree.
But it's gonna be a rough goddamn ride, Mimi. And of course it is. God. Because there's a lot at stake.
Yeah.
And it could be could be a watershed moment for good or for evil.
Yes. Well, we will keep the hope, dare I say, alive. And since I am planning on trying to release this pre-election date, this is just a reminder, guys. You have a choice. Vote. Go out and do it. Help get this done. So
I've seen a whole lot lately of the if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be working so hard to keep you from it.
Exactly. That is 1,000,000% true, because it is so happening here, especially with, like, for us, Amendment 4 is on the ballot, which is, the 6-week abortion ban. And they're trying to even get it off the ballot because they're like in litigation. I mean, they're just so worried. So they're trying to cheat as usual. So there's a lot at stake here. Yeah, there's a lot at stake here. So it's super important. Say no to all the judges, Floridians. If you're out there, just say no to all of them. They're all DeSantis appointed. So that's my voter guide. It makes it really easy. Yes on 4, no to all the judges. But yeah. That's all. I mean, we do our part and that's it. But I have been thinking about you because Oscar is a big reader, as you know, and it'll be, I can always tell when he wraps up a book or when he's really into one, he'll walk in and be like, yep, Greg was right. It's usually about the whole, everything is surrounded about greed, and it's all about, money and like how people are. And that's like just the root of it. And whether it's fiction or whether it's nonfiction, it's like always the same themes. And he'll always come in and go, well, yep, Greg was right. Of course, again. So you're always on our minds here in Orlando.
I mean, this is not necessarily for good reasons, but I'm glad.
I mean, at least you're right.
Oh, yeah. I would prefer. I think I've said this before. There are lots of things I prefer to be wrong about.
Right.
I've been. I was in New York last week around the con and got to see Dash. No, I never.
Of course
go.
not. I know you're always there during, but then you don't go.
I go to be around it. Right. Okay. There are people.
So you catch people and.
Exactly. Like I saw Leo, Alejandro Leo and I had dinner. Yes. I met with a couple of DC editors and that was cool and things like that. But the Javits Center is one of its own circles of hell, in my opinion. And
I've never been. And so I had FOMO this time because so many people I knew were there. And I was like,
There's the great people there doing great things. And it's a super spreader event. It is definitionally a super spreader event. Okay. And so I was like, I didn't go out last year for whatever reason, and this year it did. So it was nice. I got to see my friend Oz, not nearly long enough, but I got to see Oz. Got to spend some time with Dee, and that was great. And she's doing really well.
She's doing well. Amazing.
Yeah, got to see the oh man, what is it? The Tales from the Tavern. Now I gotta look this up here.
Okay. It's a show.
Yeah.
Cool. You know what? Maybe I should take the Greg Rucka New York Comic Con path and just like go during it, but not go. But I don't know that I could do that. You know me. I'll end up on like three panels without like knowing, just randomly.
I
it's not true. They may not even want me. So who knows?
I look. It is. It's a big show.
Yeah.
And my understanding is it's now rivaling, San Diego. And okay. There's something to be said for playing it. I don't need to participate in it yet. Right. Or right now, where I am is a lull, everything I'm working on, nothing is coming out. So,
perhaps
and honestly,
when we have that.
I'm starting to get a little. It's honestly starting to get to me. I think it was Rose City this year where enough people came up and said, "So, are you working on anything?" Or it was like, "Oh wow."
Wait, did you go in September?
Rose City was here. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a month ago.
City.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and ended up, and I think we did.
Well, we released an episode, but okay, you did table. Okay.
Yeah, I ended up tabling alone because Mike Henderson got COVID.
Oh no, Mike.
And Troutman didn't come down. So I ended up anchoring a table alone. And it was just after the Saturday of, well, aren't you doing anything new? It was like, oh, okay, this sucks.
This is what happens when you go without me.
It's not that. It's like 2 years in.
I see what you mean, because people aren't up to date too on like what's happening.
No, it's not even that they're not up to date. Mimi, there's nothing out.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't know about The Forged. Right. Lazarus is a full year and a half later than it should have been. Right.
But The Forged, Black Magic, be like, hello.
Yeah. And we did. I did.
Right.
But at a certain point, it's just like, okay, enough.
The thing is, when it rains, it pours for you, because then everything's going to come out at the same time. It feels.
Yeah. Like. Next year is going to be crazy.
Yeah. So we'll go together next year.
We'll see.
I know. I know it's exhaustive, and it's like, okay.
That's the other thing. I have to say, conventioning, I think, is a young person's game. I am just. I don't have the stamina. I mean, and I say this is, I just, Alejandro was tabling at New York Comic Con, and it's the first time that he's tabled, right? Oh. He was there with his creator hat, with his writer hat on.
Okay.
And we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm exhausted," and I was like, "Yeah." Different, isn't it? When you are behind a table, and you are having to put out the energy and engage with people all the time. Very different than when you are, oh no, I'm just here to meet with a few folks.
Right.
Like it takes a lot.
It takes a lot. Yeah. Spencer was there. Did you see Spencer?
I did not see Spencer, and I actually should have dropped the line. His Iron Man. His Iron Man came out. Oh my gosh. Very, very nice. Yeah. People need to pick it up.
Yeah, super exciting. And he tabled.
Not surprising, honestly.
Okay.
I was not surprised to see that he executed.
Okay. What I mean? Of course. But I mean, he had, done the previous one, but at the same time, you're just like, it's still a different genre than his newsletter writing, than his journalism.
Yeah, but he's also like, he's been soaking in comics all his life, though.
True.
So
I don't know. You can be a fan, but still not be able to be a creative. That's like
fair enough.
Like, I love watching movies, therefore I can make a film. It doesn't really work.
Sure. but the flip side of that is people who become filmmakers tend to get there because they watch a lot of movies and love them.
Of course. No, and also he's a legit author, like a writer. Yeah. He knows how to tell a story and a narrative. It's just
he knows how
getting
to put
the right
words
medium.
Together.
It's just putting yourself into that other, like that light switch of a medium. So I'm noticing your fingers are so inky, and I'm like, what is
I have been Jen and I are filling out the postcards to voters.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just like getting down with that fountain pen again. And just.
Oh no, I am.
Oh,
right?
You're using it, but it's for the postcards.
It's a great excuse to use the pens, but we've got to finish up our 1,000 or however many that, and we have to have them done pretty much tomorrow because they've got to go out. I was going to say
tomorrow, right? Yeah, they got to be out by tomorrow.
Well, they mail on the 26th. So we need to get the last of them. And we're down to, I think, the last 100. So
oh my gosh.
I was literally, that's what I was doing the hour before getting on this with you.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been trying to get on a writing schedule, like an actual lockdown writing schedule. And I actually got cranky with my manager and literary agent today. And I was like, no more anything between 10 and 3. That has to be, I don't want people calling me. I need
that makes sense.
Me alone so I can write. So
you should. Yeah.
And your new email scheduling thing, which keeps chiming every time it came. And then you send me 4 texts in a row. And it's like, Mimi, I'm trying to write.
Well,
I'm trying to write. My phone keeps going ping.
I didn't know this. One is, my new thing I fixed because it was sending a reminder the 24 hours and then the hour before. So I fixed it and took that away.
It sent me, I got the initial schedule.
Yes.
I got a reminder like 3 days ago.
Really?
Then I got then I got the 24, and then I was like, okay, it's like, I know, trust me, I know, I'm gonna be there. I will be on the podcast.
It sent it to me, and then I'm like, I got the 24 and then the 1. But I this is a new scheduler thing because I'm trying to help my life out, and it'll help me once I get it. But then. I really did think we were going to be on Eastern time 3. So that's why I was texting you 10 minutes before 3 my time. And then I was like,
because
on the Zoom, and then I was
I thought we had been pretty clear about that.
You know what? It's my fault because I usually try to always talk about the guest time frame, and for some reason, probably because I didn't sleep for a week, like the week before, I'm not up to par yet. Like that hurricane week with the Kung Fu weekend. I'm definitely still coming back. Like I'm still waking up at 2:30 sometimes. Like I'm still coming down from it. It's the adrenaline was so high.
The last time we talked was before the trip.
Before Africa.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was August. That's why I was like, wait, you went to Rose City? I know we would have talked about this, but we had a podcast release between then, but we didn't actually talk. So yes, I talked to you before Africa. That makes sense because it's been whirlwind since then because it's been go preparing for this event. Yeah. And you're busy too. So, I know your hours. I won't text you until after 3 your time.
Oh no, I'm gonna get draconian about it. I'm gonna start switching on the do not disturb.
Oh yeah, obviously. But still, I don't even want them waiting for you.
Jen has a friend named Jen and
Jen. Yes, Jen.
Mosher. And so she and Mosher had a conversation about how both of their spouses have this fantasy of going away to someplace where they can just work and be allowed to work. And it was pointed out that, they have phones in those places. Like the problem is not the location. The problem is your your inability to
devices.
disengage from all the other shit around you. And it's true.
That is definitely half of it. But I actually have people showing up like at my house, right? So like I do need to be away. I do need to be away because that's why I go on the cruises, because then I won't get the Wi-Fi package, because it's like $20 an hour if you don't have the package. So then you're like, I'm not connected. So So that's kind of our new plan. But that is funny because it's like, the location's not the problem. The phone is the problem, and not looking at it.
It is. Some of it I have to assume responsibility for.
What? I have to take responsibility?
I'm trying to be responsible about it. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm trying.
I love it. We're all a work in progress, so it's fine.
Yes, constantly. So
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so far behind on the novel. I really wanted to be done by now, and it's like, wow, I lost basically a whole month. So this is now very actively me being like, no, we're doing this. Okay. It's going to get done. So
I owe you more notes, I think, too. So I need to get.
It's all right. It's all right. We're kind of past it right now.
Oh, you're past it. Okay.
Yeah.
I gave you the first set of notes. I gave you the first set of notes, but then you had asked me to do a read, and I'm like, I don't have the actual like. I only do audiobooks. So
when I get there, we'll put it in front of Oscar. He can read it to you. How about that?
Oh, okay. I like that. Yes, I like that. So, but yeah, I'm glad then I at least got my first assignment out to you.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny.
It fit pretty much what I had done for that sequence anyway. So it was stuff like that's a good gut check.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes total sense. Gut checks are important. Like, I feel like I need them all the time. And it makes me go, what am I, just like not confident anymore? I just always want to have like reaffirmations. Like, tell me again, was this right? Did I do this right?
I don't know. Sometimes like, there's nothing wrong with double checking. Nothing wrong with double checking.
Okay, so since you're kind of in novel mode, right? I've been reading these like How to Be a Better Storyteller, and there's an audiobook that Oscar and I are listening to from somebody that now I'm gonna forget the name or whatever, but like I was like, should I talk to Greg about election stuff, or should I just pick his brain selfishly on like for my selfish Matthew Dix. I don't know if you've ever heard of Matthew Dix, but anyway, he does like, it's mostly verbal, so it's not necessarily about writing, but he's like a really great storyteller and has done, I don't even know what it is, not competitions per se, but something like that. Like he does coaching and all of that, but really good storyteller. And of course, we heard him on a podcast, like Oscar. Oscar
making
previews
stories
everything.
Come alive.
Yeah, and so like kind of the art of storytelling, but a lot of it is more for like live, which is good because I do a lot of lectures and stuff like that. But then, of course, I've been trying to be in this quote unquote writing mode, and part of it was, do I need to just leave town for a month, like you said, and like go to a tower? Because I think BK Vaughn does. He has like a special, like, I'm going to my place or whatever, like, don't talk to me. And last time he was telling me he had a place, so I don't know if that's a thing. And I know Bendis writes at night.
Bendis's whole life is oriented around literally his whole life is oriented around preserving that writing zone, right? You can, and having done that at times, it can work really well, but it requires, he also has a really comprehensive support system in place for that.
Yes. Everything. Everything works in the household towards that goal.
To that goal.
To help that goal. Yeah.
There have been times when I've uprooted myself and been like, all right, I'm gonna, I remember. It was not Yeah, I mean, it was not uncommon back in the old novel days for me to go to a hotel for a couple days, just with the plan of I am locking myself in and I am typing, and that's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
And but the older I got, and certainly post kids, the harder it became to do that, because it felt like, oh, I'm abandoning Jen and the kids, and so these days it would be abandoning Marlo more than anybody else.
And we all know Marlo's anxiety levels wouldn't really allow for you to be gone too long.
I'm not sure she'd be too good with that. But that said, I have been contemplating it for this one, for sort of maybe the last 20,000-30,000 words. I might pack myself in a car and go somewhere for a week or two.
Now, because you've written like a million different things, like you just throw out like, I know what 20 or 30,000, what does that mean? Like how many pages is that? Or is that like the last half? Is that the last quarter?
See, so this is the reason, like, the reason novelists in particular talk in terms of word count and not page count is because page count is meaningless, right? It depends on the font and the font and so on. So, an average sized fiction novel is about 80,000 words. A longer one, maybe 110. Like, I think the longest I've ever written was about 130,000, like published, came in at about 130. But
so you're on like the last quarter.
Yeah, that's what I'd be talking about. I'm not there right now. I'm like this one's gonna be big. This book is gonna be a large one. I'm maybe coming up on the halfway point.
Okay.
Maybe. And I'm not sure about that. I might be at a third. Because one of the things that's going on is the narrative in this one, just structurally, is a present narrative, and then there is a past narrative that is sort of moving up to meet the present, and then there are other characters that you're following. So there are effectively three narrative strands running.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And they're braiding. So making sure they're braiding properly and informing each other properly. At a certain point, the novel the story will hit a certain point where we're fixed in the present. And at that point, it's just going to be everything moving forward. Yeah. But the first half of this book is basically all building to an event, and it is a plot event as well as a character event, and it's not. I mean, I don't think the book is coy about it. Like, you can tell this is where you're going, but in an action suspense novel, to be where I am and to have not had anybody, shoot, jump, punch, or otherwise is odd. And it's a different book for me in that sense, because, this is absolutely a Kodiak novel. Kodiak novels tend to have, somebody with a gun coming through the door at some point.
Right.
But this is also, it's about so much thematically and it is a genre book, but it's also, a story about being a parent and it's a story about getting older, and it's a story about cycles of violence and surviving them, and how we carry our pasts and how hard they are to set down, and sometimes the need to not set them down. Sometimes, and then of course it's got its take on the world, right? Which is surprise, the bad guy's a billionaire.
Yeah. Greg's rosy take on the world.
Look, I mean, like there was a great John Rogers quote I saw on Blue Sky like last week, which effectively came down to we need to understand that $1 billion is the socioeconomic equivalent of a loose nuke, and he's right. He is so fucking right. And all you have to do is look at this bullshit that Musk is pulling. And oh my God, have you ever seen? This is the thing I don't get, right? Like anybody with any sense of perception is looking at Musk's behavior in the last couple of weeks and going, wow, he is pants-wettingly terrified.
Yeah.
Right? Like his behavior is the behavior of somebody who is literally pissing himself scared. He is so terrified, and it's very clear why, right? If Harris wins, then his whole house of cards collapses, right? You're seeing it's the behavior of the best way I could think to describe it, and it's the emotional tone, and I don't know if this will make sense. It's that thing when you were 6 or 7 and you did the thing and then you knew you were going to get in trouble for it and there was no way out. Like you broke the vase or you ate the candy bar that you weren't supposed, and there was no way to replace it, right? It was like there is a fixed amount of time before the hammer falls. But the hammer is falling. At a certain point, mom's going to look at you, dad's going to look at you, or the teacher's going to look at you, and they're going to say, where is why are you? Mm-hmm. And no story you say, right? You can't run from it. There's nowhere you can go. You're not going to be able to lie, right? There's no lie that'll do it. You're going to have to own it. And it's that, and that's, you can literally see it in his behavior. Yeah. That's the dread. He's been caught. He knows he's been caught, and he's in the moment between caught and punished. Right?
Okay.
And he is, and that's his terror, and you can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
And the phrase is fuck around and find out. I'm really looking forward to the and find out portion of the evening's entertainment.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I couldn't pinpoint it the way you were, but I was like, he's acting like a petulant child and just one that's just like lost it. And
he's in
that makes a lot of sense. He's in panic mode. Yeah.
And this has actually been covered in the mainstream media, right? Like Trump has said, oh yeah, no, you'll be able to have oversight over all of these things. Oh, I'll be able to have oversight over all the things that are keeping me in check and that are about to punish me. Right? It's like, no wonder he's all in. Right? He is terrified because he can't buy Harris. Mm-hmm. He can't buy his way out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So, and like I said, I mean, I got no guarantees on how this is going to go, and it's going to be a long ride, even in victory, right? But I'm going to pop a lot of popcorn, and I'm going to put real butter with a little bit of salt on it.
Oh, I love it.
and I am very much looking forward to the and find out portion
I am
of the
too. I love that you phrased it that way. I love that you phrased it that way because it's it's terrifying. And again, it's amazing how I still am subject to this, even though I have not turned on one news channel. Like people like to send stuff, and you can't avoid it. You just can't avoid it. And so, yeah, I told Oscar, I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I want to do that day. Like, should we just skip the country and just like put our headphones on? But then I want to be here for my family because my mom might legitimately have a panic if it goes sad. Like I was like, oh, we need to be here for them, and then just kind of let our students come in and have their place of sanctuary and just like, this is not where let's breathe and let's do
the stress out.
Yeah, we may need that week with them, but yeah, we'll be skipping town after that, a little bit after that.
It's going to be a long ride, you know.
Yeah, like you said, even if the result is what we would prefer, but it's still going to be hectic. Well,
and they're going to do everything they can to obfuscate it if it's not in their favor. Right. Yeah. Every single thing that they can do to slow it down, drag it out, contest it, argue it, fight over it. Yeah. It's going to happen. And so this is not over on
Florida will be in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's hang some chads. So, yeah. And so what are you going to do? Like the only things you're going to be able to do or, try to regulate the input and or the intake and know when to step away and verify the stuff you're hearing is going to be a big thing, right?
I know,
it's going to be a real big thing because
really big thing. It's hard to find the reliable.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of misinformation flying and a lot of speculation and a lot of and a lot of deliberate lies. Going to be a lot of lying. So, okay, all right. No, I mean we're gonna because what else is there, right? Yeah. What else can we do?
Yeah, that's all we can do. And like I said, when we kind of started out, it's like we're doing our part. You're writing those postcards till your fingers turn blue or green.
The nice thing is we have to own at this point something like 50, 60 different bottles of ink. So it's a really good excuse to be like, well, let's load this pen and see what this ink looks like on these postcards.
I have seen that you have been gathering your collection and it's been growing and all of that. The ink will stay, right? It's not like it goes bad.
It does actually go bad.
Oh, it does. So will it evaporate and stuff too, or it just gets like
or the pigments will break down.
Okay,
if it's pigmented.
So yeah, you got to use it up.
Or the dyes. Yeah. So this is good. We're rotating it along. Everything's going according to plan.
So now tell me with these postcards, because you're writing them, do they know it's from you or they're just generic?
No.
Oh man, because I would be like, holy shit, I got a postcard from Greg Rucka.
Okay, one, you would be, but
so many people.
No,
I think.
No, there are not really that many people in Ohio who are going to go, I know who this name is. What you get is you sign up and you tell them how many you're willing to do.
Right.
And you get sent a box with the postcards and with mailing lists.
Yes.
And an instruction sheet.
Yeah.
And the instruction sheet says this is when you will send them. And then it'll give you basically what we've got is three variations on a please vote.
Right. Like kind of a template to follow. Yeah. Because my friends in Hawaii did it and they sent me, but it looked like they signed off. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, because you do it they want you to do it by hand and you're supposed to sign it.
Okay.
So, but I'm not saying, I sign it Greg,
Oh, okay.
Nobody can read that. All right,
everyone out there in Ohio, just so you know, if you got one of those postcards, it's from the Greg Rucka. Please post it and send DM.
It may be collectible, or it may be an artifact of of the last free election of the United States. So, we'll see what it is.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So and you get a printout. And the nice thing is the message is nonpartisan. The message is get out
it's
and
positive,
vote for
get out and vote.
Harris or vote. It literally is, hey, thank you for being a voter. Your friends and family might need your reminder to vote.
Okay.
Please let them know, or please ask them to vote on November 5th, know. And that's all it is. It's very simple. Or it's like, it's along those lines. Yes. Now there are different messages.
Different ones because I feel like the ones the Hawaii ones were like 2 red states going, hey, maybe from your friends in Hawaii, we're blah blah blah, and then it was something because my mom is always looking for ways to be involved, and then she went to the call bank and she was like, oh my God, I was so hoarse from calling. And I'm like, I'm like, maybe this one's not for you. Maybe do the postcard thing. I thought that would be really cool. And so I had looked into it for her. So that's why I was so curious because everybody wants ways to be involved. That's reasonable for them. Right.
And that's terrific. Right. Like, here's the way you can participate. And it's, so like we're out the stamps on these, right? The postcard stamps on them is what we're going to pay.
That's what and
I can afford to do that. I can do that. I can make that donation in addition to all the other donations I've made. But the nice thing is, right, and again, it's you want to be able to donate your effort, right? And there are lots of different mechanisms available, which is a good thing to remember. There are different ways to. And not everything requires, here's another $50 or whatnot.
Exactly. Because not everybody has that, right? And so there's a lot of action items. And that's what I always tell people. Volunteering is a wide range of things. It doesn't also mean like 100 hours. It could be 1 hour. Like the 1 hour
covers a lot.
A lot of people do it. So 100%. I mean, don't I know it? The problem is I volunteer and it ends up being like 3.5 years of my life.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a little extreme.
Well, the problem with some of it is that once you get in, right, there is a feedback loop, right? Which is I am participating and I feel better for doing a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of what we suffer. And it goes to, what are you going to do on election day, right? Because there's only so much you can do, right? Okay, I mean, you want to go poll watch? You could, watch for irregularities. That sounds like a red state move, right? Doesn't it? Sounds like a little voter intimidation thing. But being able to act in a way that feels constructive is huge.
Yes.
It's vital.
It's vital. It's definitely vital. Because,
and consequently, once we start doing that, it's like, well, I'd like to keep doing that because I prefer the way I'm feeling now than the way I was feeling before I did anything.
True. Yeah. Well, I like your postcard thing for you, especially because you have the stack, but then it's done.
Yes.
And then you're done. Like it's physically done. There's like a visual aspect and like a closure aspect.
We've actually, Jen and I have talked about the fact that it's going to be a very, very nice moment to be able to put the stamps on all of it. So we did that. And then you saw the Stop Project 2025 website, the comic project. Yes?
No.
Are you kidding me, Mimi?
I'm not on. Yeah. Okay. So tell me more.
You're on the Discord.
Okay, I am, but
oh my gosh,
I'm always
Mimi.
so far behind. So,
oh my gosh.
Okay. Comic project.
Hang on. I'm going to drop this.
Otherwise, I probably would have asked you about it right away.
Chat. Yeah. Right. Well, read it and then we can talk this weekend. Okay. Or I can get maybe Lieber or Scott Dunbier, who have been the faces on this. On it as well, but you do this, then literally that recording you've got to turn around and put out on Monday. All right.
Okay.
I just put the link into the chat.
I see it. I mean, I'm putting this out on Monday for sure. So, okay. Holy smokes. Okay. How many comics are there?
22.
Oh. Yeah, how come I miss this? Cully and Jean Ha, and this is what happens when you don't really read the social media thing, because I bet it's on their pages, yeah?
Yeah.
Jen?
So yeah, get it out there and share that link everywhere. So if you have your Facebook and so on, share this link.
And so on. Yes. Yeah, well, for sure. And I think like
look,
we
all
have like
I've got is blue sky
to kind of go through. Yeah. And I know, but my reach is not huge, but I definitely have a lot of humans that know that I love comics and it all matters. And so yeah, I'll definitely share this.
So yeah, we've got
22. What did you write?
No, we don't. We're not taking credit for specific stories. One of the things that we've decided is that.
Yeah, tell me about how this came about. Yeah.
This is a non-for-profit volunteer effort by a bunch of comics creators to break down the absurd 900 plus pages of Project 2025 into some tidbits so you know what the document is and what it will do. And as the intro on the website says, we've made some comics to explain some of the agenda and move you to vote against it. We did this because you shouldn't have to read this monstrosity. After all, it's more than 50 times as long as the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution combined. Our two founding documents are short because it doesn't take a lot of words to say you matter and you have a voice. Project 2025 is longer because it's a detailed plan to shut you up and shut you out. And so we've got there, it's organized alphabetically. Mm-hmm. So, and some of them are a little more humorous than others. All of them are direct citations. Yep. Mm-hmm. So like abortion and climate and Christian nationalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. How Project 2025 will destroy the education, will dismantle NOAA. Right, gets rid of it. I mean, literally, we were talking about Hurricane Milton and Helene, and Project 2025 wants to shutter NOAA, right? Because if you can't monitor the weather, there's no such thing as climate change, I guess.
Oh my God.
He wants to. I mean, it's horrible.
This is amazing. I will read this whole thing right after this call. And Alt Mike and Matt and everybody's on here. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. So I will,
and these are just listed creators. There are some contributors who just did not want to have their names listed for one reason or another. Okay. Either because they are, either because they had some sincere concerns for their safety, because we know that the haters are going to hate.
Yep.
Others because literally their employers would not allow them to be involved in such a thing. So
yeah, especially if they're under contract and with different things, so publishers and things like that. So so this is so cool. So basically everybody collaborated, and there's no author assigned to any specific
people took different topics.
Everyone took different topics. And then, and I mean, just by the sheer number of people, like, it looks like also there's like collab on the topics as well. Like what's so cool about it is it's so collaborative, and hopefully.
And it's all cited. Nothing's made up here.
Right. Yeah. This is the point, is that you're actually getting facts.
And then ultimately there's also, if you're at the website and you click, there are two buttons, a register to vote button and a read the comic. And you can, for instance, click on one of the stories, and not only that, but you get the full transcript.
Yep.
There's a PDF that's downloadable. It's all there. So we are, this was a work of passion.
Definitely. And
for a lot of people,
done so quickly.
And just wonderful web design work, and I mean, really just outstanding. So we've been encouraging anybody who checks it out, finds it worthwhile, to share the links, please.
Yes,
and you can link to the specific stories. You can link to the PDF, but my penetration's blue sky. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Threads. I'm not on Shitter. I'm not on any of that stuff. So, people who, if you're responding to it, share these things, because it's not, obviously the importance of this is for people who don't understand what 2025 is, right? Like Trump tried desperately,
and no one's going to read it.
Yeah. And Trump ran from it remarkably quickly, in the same way that Vance has disappeared in the last week, right? Nobody's talking about him either anymore, right? And it's like, don't let them hide.
Exactly.
They're trying to hide.
Yeah, and we definitely don't want them to hide from what they've put out and what they've condoned and what they agree with. And so this is very helpful for me, even because I one, love reading comics, but also the fact that I can get the actual details and then speak, halfway intelligently on it. And when someone asks, because I feel like I don't ever have all of the facts, so sometimes I'm not able to rebuttal things, or
it's a lot. I mean, it is
so much. So
it is a lot, and they obfuscate it, right? I mean, it is. So it isn't easy. And one of the reasons that you create a 900-page plus document to implement these things is, you are both laying a very detailed roadmap as to how to enforce your Christo-fascist vision of the country. And the thing that's I find this more and more fascinating, honestly, is that the interpretation of Christianity that is being pursued by the people behind this is such an outlier interpretation. Like 99% of people who identify as Christian do not share these values or views.
Exactly.
And yet here is a group of people who are not only dictating now what's appropriate for, children, for people to read, what you can learn, but literally the kind, your faith, the nuance and nature of your faith. There is no interpretation. It is this version, and that's it. And that unholy collaboration with greed. And one of the remarkable things about Project 2025, when you really look at it, is how much of it is about greed. Like, it's all about privatizing this stuff. It's all about making it possible for the people who already are grossly wealthy to increase their wealth. It gets rid of overtime, effectively, right? Yeah. Effectively, one of the changes that it's advocating for is monetizing overtime, not on a weekly basis, but on a monthly. So I only have to pay you overtime if I go over your hours in a month. But that means, right, I can cram your month's worth of work into, 24-hour shifts. I don't have to pay you extra for that. I don't have to do that. I mean, it's really criminal. And then you go back and you look at all these quotes that Trump has about never wanting to pay for overtime, that he refused to pay for overtime. Right? I mean, there's no question here.
It's none whatsoever. Question. None whatsoever. So, but yeah, this really does break it down. Because I've been scrolling it, and like it's very digestible but scary. So listeners and readers, it is fact though that we need to be informed voters. Like that's the thing. It's people have been asking me for my what do you call it, cheat sheet, or like, hey, you research every single amendment and every single thing. What is it? I said, yeah, I'd love to share that with you, and I will. But I also want you to understand what all the things are, not just do what I what I'm voting for and what I say. I'm like, if you don't understand, I'm happy to explain it, because I feel like we're so uninformed, but it's also so overwhelming. The language is there to confuse you. It's purposeful. And so it's just one of those things. So I feel like this is fantastic. And yes, kudos to everyone. I will list everyone's names here and I will post this. And during this episode, I'll actually try to push to get this out as soon as possible, really. So I'm going to, my lovely team put this out, and they'll actually put up some screenshots. Yeah,
make sure that
while we're speaking.
And
instead of our faces, nobody needs to see us.
Yes, the cool stuff.
Let's just scroll this while...
But yeah, you take a look if you want, right? Like I said, I can. I am sure there will be people who would be happy to talk to you about it.
Absolutely. Let me see what I can get done in the short amount of time we have. But I know you have a lot to do, and I know that you have been doing a lot.
I have postcards.
You've got postcards to write.
I've got postcards to write.
For our listeners and viewers, I will leave you with a scroll of all of this stopproject2025comic.org and the PDF and show you here on the YouTubes and all that. But you can also get it for yourself. And like I said, be an informed voter. Thanks for the Rucka rant, and always good to see you. I love you.
Was there a Rucka rant? Did I rant? Or
no?
I mean, I'm always ranting. I suppose.
Yeah, it wasn't as intense as it could be, but I think it was legit.
We don't need to be the angry.
No, we don't need to raise our.
We can be the
pressure.
brave.
We can be. Yes, there it is. Love it. All right. Until next time.
All right. Great to see you, Mimi.
Likewise. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the Sifu Mimi Chan Show. Please subscribe and rate my podcast on your platform of choice and leave a review. You can become a patron of the show at patreon.com/SifuMimiChan to help keep this podcast going. Follow me and interact on social media at Sifu Mimi Chan on Instagram or Facebook.